Good morning to everybody. First of all, I want to begin by speaking about climate change. There is truth and there is the lie. There is everything in between. And science is no lie. It is proven. They said this to the world. Science has to be proven scientifically. And climate change can be proven through a simple scientific experiment. Now, this is to my people in Africa. Recently there was an earthquake in Botswana. And this affected 6 different nations in our country of Africa. And yet they tell you nothing. They got this belief. They've got this way of saying to you, just believe it. Don't worry about the truth. Well, I am concerned with the truth. And that is why I went back and looked for the truth scientifically. Not through garbage and not through lies. You know that the Big Bang Theory has been proven as a hoax. And science actually proves that. I can prove that scientifically. I can prove scientifically how this universe came about. You know, they said to you, you came from a worm. You know, evolution. And you started off as this tiny little worm that became this human being. Garbage. Garbage. I can prove that scientifically. In every way. Now, you've had earthquakes. You've had sinkholes. You've had volcanoes. You've had storms. You had tornadoes. You got the hail, which is increasing in size. You got lightning. And they are just like to stop for 2 seconds. You've had this vast increase in forest fires. And yet when I keep asking the question, why has lightning increased? How many answers have you got on that? Can you explain scientifically exactly, precisely why lightning has increased? But you have no answers. But yet you call me fake? Well, I said this before. Why don't you bring your science and your researchers and your experts and let's sit around a table and I'll prove it to you scientifically with a science formula. With a simple science formula. And you can prove nothing. Let's talk about the sinkholes. If you cannot scientifically, mathematically, geographically, historically, archaeologically prove one sinkhole to exact time and that exact spot, a GPS coordinate, then you have proved nothing about science. All that you have proved is you are lacking in science knowledge. But yet, when I say that I can prove each and every sinkhole through any time period, back to the very first sinkhole, then you wonder why. Well, it's simple. If you got the science formula for it, I can prove it. Now, climate change, where did it come from? Where did it originate from? Well, you need to work the science backwards. This planet was in a normal condition, climatic condition. And you have to prove the normal climatic conditions first. You got to prove it scientifically that that is how climate operated. Through science. And then from there, you got this abnormal condition. All of a sudden, everybody's running with tornadoes and running from floods and running into the mountains. If you cannot explain one volcano eruption, how do you explain 40 at the same time? That's all science. It's simple science. We know that Obama scientists created this, and I can prove that scientifically. And it comes between the time of the Clintons and Obama. And what they did, now you have to bear in mind, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It only changes from one form to another. And that is science. But yet you say the Big Bang in that law doesn't apply. Yes, it does. I can prove it scientifically. I can prove it. I can prove exactly where this energy source came from. And I can prove it scientifically. And don't say God. God is not science. God is only, He constructed science as an attribute to the physical time, matter, and space. You have time, matter, and space. And that's all you have in this life. I have got a time that I was born, a time that I will die, and a space I occupy, and I consist of matter. So the only variable is the matter. When I'm growing from a child to an adult, and it's always the small change. And the only thing I have got to work in is time, because I know that I'm going to die. The same with the universe. Now I ask you this question. The big black hole in the sun, why is it glowing? Where did it come from? Do you know what heavy matter is and dark matter is? How did that come about? Where did that come from? What does dark matter do? What does heavy matter do? What does light matter do? You see, science is a whole lot of questions. And if you don't have the answers, then what are you? What are you? A big question mark. The Atlantic or the North Pole, the big hole that's suddenly aroused through the ice, the size of Mexico. Where's the answers for that, sir? Where are the answers? Do you have them? Why did it melt? Science proves exactly that. In New Zealand, you've got a big sinkhole in the middle of the ocean. Where did that come from? How did it get there? What's it going to do? It's got answers. From the sun all the way through. Every single thing has got an answer to it, scientifically. And if you don't know that, then you've got a problem. How do hurricanes form? Where does it originate from? Where does wind, how does it come about? How does it stir up? Why are wind speeds increasing? Why are temperatures changing? And it's not got to do with temperature. On ground level, you've got an increase in temperature, and the higher up you've got a decrease in temperature. And it's been blown around all the time. And it's scientifically, two temperatures cancel out. If you've got a negative and a positive, they cancel out. They cancel out. So it's got nothing to do with temperature. Now, what about the smog? Well, it's got nothing to do with smog either. All you're doing is the same as smoking. You're messing up your body and you're messing up your lungs. Now I'll ask you this question. 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, I said, dam walls are going to start falling in. Bridges are going to start falling down. Mines are going to start collapsing. Tunnels are going to start collapsing. 10 years ago. How did I know that if I don't have the science to prove it? It's impossible. It's impossible. How can one man get each and every sinkhole correct without failure? How can one man get each and every earthquake correct without failure? From the time of Mount St. Helens, I said it's going to blow. Did it blow? It not only blew, it killed a lot of people as well. How did I know Nepal's going to go? How did I know all the other ones are going to go? How many more people do you want to kill before somebody listens? Science is science. It's not bulldust. It's not a pack of lies. It's the truth. The world's looking for answers, and you giving them what? Oh, by the way, aliens and UFOs. They did it. No. Aliens and UFOs, you made them. And I'm going to prove that scientifically as well. Because, you see, you have to, in this day and age, with all those fake around, you have to prove things by truth. And you've only got truth to stand on. And if a man is a liar, then you prove him a liar. You don't say, watch out for the fake. Prove that I'm a fake. Prove it. China would love to know what's going on. Russia would love to know what's going on. How did you do it, sir? Is the question. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. And you don't know that energy that you created was far higher than you thought. Because there is an exponential growth that you know nothing about. Because that is science. Quantum physics, the probability that I can be alive and the probability that I can be dead at the same time. Well, what have you got there? Somebody trying to prove that they got? You can't. I can prove that. It's impossible. You'll kill the guy. So, as an introduction, this is all I'm going to part to you. It is going to get far bigger and far worse. Australia, all you people in Australia, that is nothing compared to what is coming. And I can prove it to you scientifically because we have got time, matter and space. We've got an earth that consists of matter and it takes up a space. And the only variable thing in it is time. Now each time the planet revolves, every time I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. What? Time. Because I've already worked out from the origin point right through to the last. And from the origin point right backwards to the first. Now how can you do that without science? Some supernatural being? No. Simple science. Thank you for listening. And may you consider and think about what's coming. Because you got no idea of what's coming and what you're up against. They can't tell you what's happening in the core of this planet. They can't tell you what's happening in the core of the sun. They cannot tell you what's happening on the other end of the universe. And let me tell you this in closing. If you think you can fly to the moon and go and hide on the moon, I've got news for you. It's all coming in. The whole lot. And I can prove it scientifically. The only thing you've got is time. This entire universe is collapsing. And even scientists have said it. Instead of expanding, all of a sudden the universe is collapsing. Why? Do you know why? I can show you scientifically and prove it. Beyond a shadow of doubt. I can prove it in any court of law. To anyone. If I have spoken to a child and they can understand it and see it, then they can know it. Thank you for listening. Have a good day and good luck.